Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, it's Friday the 13th, and I'm preparing for my usual tradition, which is watching all the Friday the 13th movies. Um, and I often look for my merchandise as well. And one of my favourite things is the Crystal Lake Memories book, which came out a while ago. I wanted to say a short while ago, but no, it's been a while. Um, the complete history of Friday the 13th. Now, they also did a DVD documentary from all the interviews and stuff from this book, but I just thought I'd give people a look at it for people who don't actually have a copy on Friday the 13th. So I kind of wish they'd used the original camp sign instead of the Jason versus Freddy for that opening one, but okay. And again, Freddy versus Jason. And it's basically a coffee table book. Starts off with our dear Sean S. Cunningham, who is in a legal battle with Victor Miller, and that's the right reason why we don't have any new merchandise. Little Jason. Now, one of the things that always bugs me in these kind of books is when the pictures... See, that's better. That's what I wanted to open the book to. Their selection of pictures, the placement and the sizing always drives me nuts. The most important pictures are usually a tiny little picture hidden in amongst text, when I really would like it to be like a whole page. So here we're in the production of season one, the first movie. This basically runs through the production of all of the movies, and there's a lot of really interesting little behind the scenes photos you'd never would have seen, ones that had been released in magazines and shown but just hadn't been seen for a long time, a lot of interviews. Now I think, if I remember correctly, the documentary suffers from, I love pictures of the Jason makeup. Whenever I can get a good picture of the Jason makeup, I'm very happy. But I wish that was a whole page. But one of the problems with the documentary is it just suffers from just being interview after interview after interview, and it doesn't really have a lot of context or structure. But that's really not a problem with the book. I read it pretty much in one day for a Friday the 13th when I first bought it. I bought it before Friday the 13th and then read it on Friday the 13th. So we're already into part 2, which I think is one of the best films. It just works. It was new, it was fresh, they knew what they were doing. It hadn't sort of been diluted, and how do we reinvent this, which is a constant problem with sequels. I still think 4 is probably the best, and then 2 and 6 would be a tie. But 3, I don't know, I forgot to mention 3 in my other video. 3 is fun, but it starts to have those problems of, we can't do what we did in the last film, let's do something different, even if it's not the best thing. So it has a bit of that, I don't know what that syndrome is, but it's a syndrome that happens in sequels and sequel series. Along with some repetitive stuff. And I still... Have we gotten the endings, the alternate endings, or any alternate footage yet? I heard someone found it a while ago. Some stuff was found on video, but I don't know. So now we're up to the 4th one. For years, there was talk of extra scenes and extra shots, and for years, I didn't see them, but eventually I got the US or the UK version, because I think the American one was edited, and we in Australia had the American version, and then we eventually got the UK version, and I think they eventually swapped, and now the American version is the one with the extra shots. But it was really shocking to see them for the first time, because if you've watched the film a million times, you're so used to every shot and the pace and the editing. So even if you just have a couple of seconds more of something, or a different shot, or an extra shot, it's kind of like, oh my god, something new. And god, I hated these characters. Someone was nice enough to make a version of Friday the 13th with all the scenes with the Hubbards removed, and that's the one I watch every year. Because I do like Friday the 13th Part 5. It's got some problems, but I like the characters, and I felt it was well directed, and some of the scenes were actually scary. But Friday the 13th Part 6 is probably my favourite. I don't think it's the best. I think 4 is the best because of you get very attached to the characters, and they're quite developed, I think, as the brother and sister relationship. The second is just... It's kind of also, because the second is kind of the first real Jason film, you have an affection for it. But the 6th one, it was a gothic horror, it was tongue-in-cheek, they actually had kids in the camp. I can forgive the 007 opening credits. But see, here's another thing. I want a full page poster. Some of the poster artwork, I want full page. But we just get these tiny little photos, and then we get photos like that take up half a page. I'm like, I don't care about them. But yeah. Part 7 had its issues too. They focused way too much on the gore, and then the vindictive producer edited out most of the gore, and then the whole film was like a series of jokes with no punchline because the gore wasn't there and the fear wasn't there. There was no tension. It was just, let's set up for a big gore shot, and then we didn't get it. Part 8, I don't know the issues of Part 8, we all know that. They were going to do Jason on a boat, then they were going to do Jason in New York, and they said, how about we do Jason on a boat to New York? And then it's like, well, we don't have money for New York, so it ended up being mostly on the ship, which actually saves it, I think, because it's actually kind of scary. But we don't really spend much time in Manhattan, and just the idea itself was just, it kind of made Jason a bit of a joke. And Jason X was a total, sorry, Freddy, God, Jason Goes to Hell. I'm getting my Jasons confused. It was fun. I liked the supernatural element, the sci-fi element, sort of in a way. But I love having the Book of the Dead involved, making him a zombie, acknowledging he was a zombie because he's obviously been a zombie since the 6th film. But there's a few issues. It's obviously written by 20-year-olds, which is a lot more noticeable when you're no longer 20. Sorry, my battery died. Okay, so then we get to Jason X, which oddly has David Cronenberg in it, playing himself again, as he usually does. He was just in Discovery, which is weird. Now this one, I don't know how I was impressed with it the first time, but I kind of was. I really liked it. And then as it goes on, it just gets ages poorly and just becomes kind of camp, but kind of fun and kind of more enjoyable, oddly enough. So I do like watching it each year. Then we get to Jason versus Freddy. I love Jason versus Freddy. It was like, it tried to be a Jason film, it tried to be a Freddy film, kind of 2 for 1, because I never got to see any of them in the cinema because I was too young. And it was great. I saw it with friends and I really enjoyed it. There was only a few little issues. I hated Betsy Palmer wasn't in it, but since the Mrs. Voorhees we saw in the film was just Freddy creating an illusion in Jason's mind, the fact it's not actually her playing the character doesn't bother me as much as if it was meant to be her in the real world. And then that's it. They don't actually cover the remake, which I thought they did. I keep forgetting they don't every time I look through the book. And we've got the stats, and then that is it. So, I don't know, I find it helpful to be able to see inside of books, especially if it's a collectible I haven't got, because, you know, maybe I want to get it, and it's a lot easier to decide that when you actually can see inside. So hopefully someone got something from that. Now, I'm wondering who does this, who else keeps folios of stuff they like. Now see, I would love to have had that as a full page photo or that, so there's a few things I didn't get in the book, I wish, but you know. So this is my Friday stuff I kept. So that was a calendar I eventually just kept the back. That was the trading cards, which I skinned it. I basically pulled the card off the back so it wouldn't take up as much room. So often what I do with books as well, if they're tie-ins and I just want them for the cover, so I can just keep them in here. So I used to have a big bookshelf full of books and I got rid of a lot of them because a lot of them I just had for the artwork. Like I kept a lot of my video covers because I used to look at this all the time in the video store as a kid, and it really just defines horror for me when I was a child. And 6, I love the artwork. And this is the rental Jason cover. This was the retail one in Australia. And there's another cards at the cover for that. And these you got in America, they do a lot of these they did a lot of these scene selection cards. We got rid of them in Australia, and we just had clear plastic cases, and the scene indexes and that were on the inside. So that was the original release version. That was the special edition. These are the American covers, which use the original artwork, which of course is the best. Unfortunately, by the time they got to 5, they started using someone's Photoshop work. It was awful, but someone did a fan version of the original artwork on the covers, so I've got these in here as well, printed out. I just like them. And eventually they did a special edition, and they had different covers, and they had slip covers for a couple of them, which had Jason's face, when the rest were all just like this with instruments that he used. And this was a box that I was very excited about because it had a bonus disc in it. But now I spent a fortune on it and didn't wait to order online to save money. I got it from the import store just impulsively because, oh my god, Friday the 13th. And now it's just a skinned cover in here. And these were the discs. They had 2 movies per disc and a bunch of special features like commentaries and, like I said, a whole disc of specials, which was amazing at the time because it was so hard to find anything about the series and that when I was younger. And these are horrible Photoshop covers, which I hate. That's why they're at the back. With Jason Goes to Hell, that's the latest sell-through rental version. That's the American unrated version. That's the regular Australian Jason X version. And the double-sided Friday the 13th remake. His name is Jason Special. I don't have Crystal Lake Memories on Blu-ray, I've got to get that. Freddy vs. Jason, the standard cover, the Platinum Edition US version, and the scene select that we got in that, on Blu-ray. This is one of the few things I had on Freddy, because I'll just go for my Freddy stuff too. It was just a poster book, and that's all I had for years. Still don't have a good book on him yet. And those are just a couple of the sell-through retail videos. This is a box set, and they use the original artwork, even if they did have big black borders, they still use the original artwork, so I kept them. And they also had a special extra disc, which was like amazing at the time. And there was a box set with some specials. I don't think it had much. Blu-ray. And that's the remake. We've all seen that, I think. Won't talk about that. And I do try and keep original artwork or some of the rare artwork whenever I find it in books and magazines and stuff. But that's just my little Friday the 13th collection. I've got another book as well. I might do that for the fun of it, but it doesn't have as many pictures, so it's really just the center of it. So I probably should do that too, but right now I'm going to go, and hopefully someone got something out of having a look at those. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe, and happy Friday the 13th.